we have Sonny Edwards Showtime in the house.
Woo!
See, we already practiced that bit.
That's as good as response as I thought I was going to
Sonny,
get.
I need to introduce you to the people that are sat around us. Nicola, a.k.a. Nick the Geek. Say hello.
Hi.
Say hello,
Hello.
Sonny.
Hello.
Hi, Sonny.
To your right, we have Emma H., a.k.a. Miss Ruthless,
Hi, Sonny.
who
Hello.
also has some ruthless questions for you coming up. And then we have the wonderful Danny Laney, or is it Laney?
Lainey.
Laney, who happens to be the producer of the finest digital content to some of the most outstanding champions, like Charlie Edwards, apparently.
And his brother Sonny.
And his brother, Sonny. Exactly. So thanks for coming in, mate. Appreciate it. This is our first podcast, so
Yeah.
excuse
Nervous?
as if we're a little bit...
Nervous.
Yeah, a little bit nervous.
Excuse Dean.
Yeah.
Listen, we're trying. That's the main thing. Martinez fight, the weekend. We've got to come in with this one right at the beginning.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on it?
Um,
Honest thoughts.
From the result, I think as good of a situation that's come out of it, really, Charlie's still world champion.
100%.
No contest.
Yeah.
Even though I personally, and I've said this in interviews, I've said this to Charlie, I personally didn't see him getting through that round, even if he got back up. And I feel like Martinez is relentless, and I think Charlie was hurt. And I don't think he'll mind me saying that because he was the first one that said that outside the ring.
Everybody talks about his weight, about him. He's probably at the wrong weight. Is that a
It's
fair
not
comment? Or?
wrong weight's a hard stretch because obviously he won the world title in December, defended it in March, but getting down to flyweight has been a struggle. He was British super flyweight champion like 2 years ago.
Wow.
So he moved down weight for the world title. And he made it well enough the first time against Rosales. He made it... he's getting bigger. All the time he's getting bigger, with the work he's doing in the gym. And I think this one was just that little bit stretched too far. He had a lot of weight to lose the day before. Do you know what I mean? Me being very close to him, me being with him in the morning of the weigh-in, you could tell he was pretty dead at the weight. But no excuses, you know what I mean? You can't take this. By signing up for a fight, you know what you're getting yourself into. He just did not want to give up that world title for any other reason than losing it in the ring. Now, there was a conversation that had happened 3 weeks prior to Martinez, and this is on my son's life, this was on my mum's life, everyone close to me. He said around 3 weeks before, and we sat down, me, Grant, Charlie, and that he, no matter what happened in this fight, no matter what was on the offer, the other side, unification, whatnot, he would not fight a flyweight again. It was taking too much out of him during camp, not just a final sweat out. He had near enough to a stone to lose in 24 hours.
And
less than 24
he
hours.
lives the life
Wow,
as well,
that
doesn't he?
is
I mean, he's
He-
always in the gym.
Charlie, for example, if I lost weight or a lot of other lost weight, didn't make weight or struggled weight or was tight on the weight, a lot of fighters it would be because, you know what I mean, they cut corners through camp, they left it too late, all them sort of excuses. But that is not the case for Charlie. You can tell Charlie got onto the scales probably around 1% body fat, and that is not healthy for.
No, definitely not.
And it was just that little stretch too far. Like, you know what I mean? He woke up in the morning, he still had a bit of weight to lose. Do you know what I mean? Of the weigh-in.
So what did he do? I mean, the morning comes, he's still got a bit of weight to lose. There's
But he
nothing-
knew he knew going to sleep how much he'd wake up and have to lose.
Yeah.
And it's just one of them things. Once you're in it, it's devastating for him, really, because he wasn't the same fighter as he was in there. But then who knows? He could have been perfect, bang on the weight, and it still come up. So there's no excuses. Just simply saying that, for me personally, I don't see him ever fighting at flyweight again. He's just too big for it. Too big for it.
On social media, it's sort of after the fight, you was kind of like, it'd be a good opponent for you potentially to fight.
I said that before I got on social media. I sat ringside before, I think halfway through the first round, just because that kid's style is very beatable, but he's very, very powerful. That doesn't seem to affect me too much. Obviously, I've not been anyone of his caliber yet, but me and Charlie are different. He likes to force the pace a lot more, get involved a lot more. In the second round, Charlie caught the kid with some lovely shots, but he was sitting inside for too long for me. I personally wouldn't do that, especially against someone I know I could punch. I know can punch. But who knows, in the not so near future, in the not so distant future, that could be a big fight lined up for me, because there's already a built-in backstory. He's already done my brother. He's done Andrew Selby as well.
Revenge.
And I've boxed pretty much half of Mexico's flyweights and super flyweights already, and I'm boxing another one next week. So I'm having these fights to prepare me for an eventual step up like that, because that's the route I'll be taking to get a world title through like a tough Mexican or Japanese or South American.
Do you think mentally you're different as well from your brother?
Yeah, I think when he got caught with the big shot that started off that like 30-punch combination before he got put down, Charlie looks to sort of prove to everyone that he's not hurt, even though he is hurt. Do you know what I mean? So he's tucking up, taking little steps back, trying to just overcome the barrage and then start firing back. But because that barrage just didn't stop, there wasn't a moment where he could sort of get his breath. With me, that first shot catches me with, I either run around the ring a few times, if I can. If not, I'm rugby tackling him, I'm grabbing him, I'm putting my head down, I'm doing anything to stop that onslaught. Charlie should have took a knee a lot earlier. I probably would have if I thought I couldn't get out of the way of him no more. But then again, I would have done probably what Luke Campbell did against Lomachenko, like 2 fights later. I don't know if you saw the last round.
That,
he got
MMA
buzzed
thing.
with a shot. He was all over the place, and then he grabbed him by the leg and flipped him on the floor.
Yeah.
Anything to
Good
not
tackle,
get
to be fair.
Yeah,
It was
anything,
weird, that was.
anything to not get a 10-8 round, anything to survive, anything to win. That's my mentality, especially when I'm up against it. But
I think also when I say mentality, before a fight, if you look at Charlie, he seems to be like zoned out, in his own mind. And when I've seen you before fights, I've seen you like even today, we're 10 days out, I think, from your fight.
Yeah.
Nothing seems to faze you. You seem completely relaxed at all times.
It's different mentalities, isn't it? Like, I think one of my biggest assets through not just my boxing but my life is my mental strength. I'm very mentally stable. Things don't tend to bother me too much. I've done stuff like, just quickly into my pro career, I've flown from Spain to Scotland on a delayed flight, got in at 4 o'clock, weighed in at 5, boxed at 7. Like stuff like Charlie said, like, wow, I would never have done that. I would have said no. Do you know what I mean? Like just little things. I took a fight at 10 days' notice with damaged knuckle. I literally couldn't throw my left hand. You just see me. It was only a journeyman, but I stopped him by just throwing right hand in Essex. I've fought in Belfast with conjunctivitis. I could not see out of one eye.
Yeah, I remember that.
Made out I had shower gel on my eye. There's no way I was leaving without getting paid. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, there's.
But also, is a
things.
mentality there that you're not bothered about getting the zero going to one loss, because you seem to
I'm not
have
that
that
hard.
approach that if I get one loss, who cares? I'm moving on to the next one.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I lost as an amateur a fair few times, and I always tend to lose to the people that I should be beating, and I lost to and I beat people that should be beating me. That was just always. So I know when I'm up against it, that's when you get the best out of me. So I need the fights to make that happen. Do you know what I mean? As an amateur, I was beating world champions, Olympians, etc. Quite comfortably, but then losing to people who I should have been like streets ahead of. But I'm not too. At the end of the day, yes, it is a business. It's boxing. But I still see it as a sport. I've still got a love for the sport. So as long as I'm involved in some big nights where people respect me for, then I'm not too.
Do you kind of map out though where you're going to go in terms of, the next 3 years, 5 years, or is it a case of just take every year as it comes and see who comes up and
you have
who's
your
prepared to set the
goals,
fight?
but every fight I've tried to make hasn't happened, and all my good fights have been offered to me, like when I weren't expecting them, like the Ryan Farrig fight, for example, that came out of nowhere. Do you know what I mean? We tried making it about 9 months before, it didn't happen, and then all of a sudden it got dropped to me. I think
There was a lot of needle before that fight as well.
Yeah, there was loads and loads and loads of back and forth.
And I remember watching the weigh-in, and I thought, to be honest, that's the first time I'd seen you where I thought in my mind you looked a bit rattled.
Nah, it's a bit of a different when you know that you're a bit more on edge, but still I stayed calm, I stayed smiley, I wasn't angry. But there was a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of people watching. You know what I mean? It was headlining.
Brilliant performance as well, to be fair.
Yeah, because all of that sort of stuff, he thought that he could sort of drag me into an emotional fight and I would stand there scrapping with him the next day. Well, really, my biggest thing is with boxing is I'll do whatever I think the opponent doesn't want to do. So if they want me to stand and scrap, then that's it. You're going to be chasing me all night. If they would rather me be moving and a slow pace, then I'm going to up the pace. I mean, I do whatever I think counters what they want to do.
Mm. So this next, obviously, 10 days leading up to fight night, what is the typical week before? Is it just a case of cooling things down, getting your head on, and what's the daily routine, weekly routine for you coming up to fight night?
Well, I've just finished my last spar today. Had Ryan Rhodes as fighter down. Razak did 10 rounds.
Easy.
Yeah, we don't speak about sparring.
Yeah.
How do you find these people to spar? How do you know who you're going to spar
There's all
with?
different gyms. Like Grant arranges most of it. I've had decent sparring for this fight. Josh Whale as well, another local fighter. Sparred Charlie a few rounds. Sparred Carl Youssef a few rounds. They're all in our gym. But it's whatever gets arranged. You know what I mean? Sometimes we go. There's been some camps when I've travelled quite a lot for sparring. There's ones when I've been up in Scotland for someone else's fight week. Sparred the British champion up there, Cash Farouk. Just wherever you can get sparring, because other boxers need sparring as well. So it's sort of two birds with one stone. But sometimes it's hard. Do you know what I mean? If it's just you wanting the sparring, it gets difficult. Like I've been let down quite a bit this camp from sparring at last minute and that. Not like for any fault of anyone, but people's plans change. Like something might come up in their life and they can't spar, which is frustrating because there's been times where I've spent like the day carb loading and that ready for a big spar, 10 rounds the next day, and then at 10 o'clock at night, Grant's on the phone, you're not sparring tomorrow now. So that's a bit annoying, but apart from that, I just leave it to Grant. And
I'm not going to say I'm going to be the same here, but I remember when I used to play Sunday League football, and I don't laugh at this one, but I knew as soon as I went on that pitch, I was just warming up, I'd go to kick the ball, and I knew if I was going to have a decent game or an absolute garbage game. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not comparing those two here, but do you have spars leading up to fight night and you just think to yourself, do you know what, I'm just not where I want to be, and then it ends up being you're not where you want to be, or is it always different?
I
The
don't
fight
know,
night is just completely different.
how you feel in a day is always different. When you've made your weight and then you just tick it over the last few days or whatever just to do the weight, you let your body rest quite a lot. So by the time fight night comes, you're pretty fresh. Do you know what I mean? Because you don't really do anything strenuous the last week. But it's funny you said that, like the first kick. There's been fights where I've started warming up and I'm doing pads and that, and I feel awful here. And I've gone on to have my best performances. And there's been times, specific more as an amateur, where I felt razor sharp on the pads, flying 100 miles an hour, ready to go, and then box terrible. Do you know what I mean? So you can't really judge it too much. I remember when I had my best win as an amateur, when I went to Finland and beat a Kazakh 3 times Olympian, former world champion. My last bar before that, I sparred a 49 kilo Thailand #1, and I'd punched his head in like 3 days before, and then I weren't meant to be sparring, so I weren't meant to be sparring, so
You missed it.
All right, sorry, go on.
but I weren't meant to be sparring, and I just had breakfast over the Premier Inn. It was my last day of camp. Stuffed my face, scrambled eggs, sausages, everything. I didn't have to weigh in again now until like when I come back after Christmas, and then they was like, "Oh, you're sparring," do you know what I mean, sort of thing.
Nice.
And they was like, "Do you want to spar?" But I've got a personality where I'm never going to say no. There's never going to be a story of me flapping it from anything or any fight or. And then I sparred him and I was doing all right, but then he was getting to me and then he hit me with a body shot and he didn't put me down, but I threw up in my mouth and I ran over to the bucket. Was sick. Went to carry on and then the coach was like, "Get out," do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that was my last spar, and then a couple of weeks later I went to Finland and boxed the best I have boxed. Where if I took too much from that spar, then I would have felt I was going to get battered getting in there. Do you know what I mean? So I don't really pay too much mind to it because you have good days, you have bad days. Like the way your body, like yesterday I hit track sprints, I had a hard strength session, another boxing session, and then I had sparring today. So you don't know what your opponents, whoever you're sparring has been training. So you can't take too much into it. And we're all learning things as well. Like the kid I'm sparring now, he was probably in there today about 6-7 kilos heavier than me. You know what I mean? Maybe 5. He's boxing at like featherweight, boxing a week after me, but I think he's not making featherweight anyway for that. And I'm only a few kilos away from flyweight, so there's also weight and everything. When you fight, you don't have that sort of disadvantage.
When did you start fighting? When was it?
When I was 9.
9.
Well, when you say fighting, when I started boxing was 9.
Yes, sorry.
I started fighting.
When did you start scrapping on the streets then?
When I started actually like competing when I was 11, because that's how old you have to be to compete.
Yeah. Always been something you've wanted to do, kind of like you've never thought to yourself, "Do you know, I've had enough of this. I'm going to do something else." Or
There was a time when I quit. Am I the only one that can hear that?
I can hear it. There. Aircon.
it's the aircon. We've got.
Oh, okay. I thought it was
yeah.
coming from that.
We've got aircon and a fly.
Yeah, for those who
I am-
can't see Dean,
I
the
am
mystery
gonna-
man on camera.
Yeah, I'm going to... Listen, the reason I'm a mystery man is because we've only got one camera at the moment, but we are going to invest in two if this podcast goes well. So there you go.
What was I saying? What was I saying?
Boxing, when you said you wanted to give it once.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I did. For
It's on your headset.
mine.
Don't move. I will get this fly. Anybody that loves flies out there, I do apologise.
No, I did stop. There was a period in my life where I'd gone in the schoolboys for 3 years running. I got to the final twice, got to the quarterfinals, and then after that, I moved out from my dad's and started living with my mum. And there was a stage of 7 months where I didn't step foot in a boxing gym. Bear in mind, I'd been doing it for 5 years non-stop before that. And I just did what any typical 14, 15-year-old do, do you know what I mean? Running around the street.
Did you always have the same sort of style, though, even through the amateurs? You know what I mean?
I used
Elusive, difficult to hit.
Yeah, I used to just not want to get hit, to be honest, more than anything. And I think I've now sort of overcome the fear of getting hit. I'm going to get hit at some point, but...
It's not natural to get hit in the face, is it?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I mean,
so
It's
I
not a bad
used
goal to have.
I'm talking my scores on computer scoring used to be 1-0s, 2-1s,
yeah.
3-1s. Like, then the next fight would be like 32-17, and I was beating people 1-0.
What
Yeah.
would you do if you weren't a boxer?
Hard to say, probably work for Dean.
Really? You won't want to do that.
It's not all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah.
Really won't want to work for him.
No. I noticed also on Twitter, David Hay, this was his comments. Technically, he's as good as anybody in the country. You don't see that outside world level. To be fair, good comment.
High praise.
High praise
High
indeed.
praise.
And to be fair, that's probably true, isn't it?
I'd like
You
to
have
think
no,
so.
you have. Your style is different to, you are an elusive fighter, and obviously now, like you say, you're trying to switch it the other way around. But when somebody like David Hayes sees it, it's not a bad comment to come out with.
I mean, you gotta work with your strengths. Like, if I turned pro and started having proper fights, then all of a sudden went from someone that was a back foot boxer, counter boxer, to someone that just tried tucking up and putting people to sleep. My career probably wouldn't go very far. I mean, no matter what you're doing, you gotta play to your strengths, and that's. In boxing, it's like, it's all right just to think, but when your subconscious kicks in and you're reacting and you take that backward step, like some people haven't got that. Some people just keep going forward and forward and forward. Like I was saying earlier, your personality, I think, in quite a big way, you see it in the ring to some degree. So people that I know genuinely quite aggressive outside and quite hot-headed, they do what they are in the ring. People that are quite laid back, their boxing style is quite laid back. People that are quite balanced, they're like, you know what I mean? And for me, I've always been, quite, quick-witted, quite smart,
You've kind of
intelligent.
changed as well. Because I think if I remember when we first started talking, probably a couple of years ago now, and you was on Twitter, it seemed to be you wanted to fight everybody.
I had to be like that because at that point, I was sitting in a position where no one was really that asked about me. So I had to keep knocking on the door until eventually one opened, and that was the Ryan Farrick fight. Since then, I've been very different. Don't get me wrong, I still want these fights.
Very quiet, I think. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because
you don't need to, do you?
I've got the platform now. Look at this. So this fight got against Guaneros, someone that's never boxed out of Mexico, someone that's never boxed for no big titles, never boxed any British fighter. I'm fighting him over 10 rounds for an IBF international title at flyweight. On my
there's
card,
2 new belts on the line on this one, yeah?
Yeah, but one is to be confirmed,
Right, okay.
to be announced. I don't want to be the first person to.
I'll shut up then.
Shut up.
No worries.
Excellent.
Shut your mouth.
Classic Dean.
Cheers, thank you.
But there's good fights. There's Brad Foster and Lucien Reed for the British and Commonwealth titles, 12 rounds. There's Zach Chelly, Cody Davies, both internationals as amateurs fighting at Crossroads, like at a good prospects fighting. There's Shakan Pitters who won Ultimate Boxing against Dex Spellman. And I'm fighting someone that no one knows of, yet I'm the headline. So I mean, and that now I'm in a position where I do not need any of these other fighters. I'm headlining on BT Sport. How many flyweights do you know that headline in either Sky Sports or BT? It doesn't happen very often. Especially not on a good show as well. In a fight that's a one-name fight. Do you know what I mean? It's Edwards versus, it could be anyone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So now I don't need to be calling everyone out. And even when I got made for the British mandatory and my mandatory, he pulled out, the fight was offered to pretty much every other super flyweight in Britain and flyweight in Britain, and not one said yes. The one that did say yes, was Craig Derbyshire, but the board wouldn't pass him. I already beat him in my second fight, and he's a journeyman that's won the English title twice, Craig Derbyshire. Very tough, very hard. Probably give me a harder fight than most of the ones at this weight. But because his record's like 8 wins and 25 losses, the board was like, no.
Didn't want to know.
Because then, to be fair, I can see where they're coming from. Fighting for a vacant title, someone that's 12-0 versus someone that's 7-25, whatever it is, they think it devalues the British. But he's English champion right now.
Yeah, but
as it
somebody
stands.
like Paddy Barnes that you had the bit of spat with on Twitter a year or so ago, whenever it started, and at that time, to be fair to Paddy, he probably was right in saying, well, what are you bringing to the table?
Yeah, well, 12 months ago, I hadn't boxed live on TV.
So it was a fair comment, and he had a decorated amateur career, great fighter, possibly not had the start that he wanted in the pro career, but now your table is full. You know, you've got all these, belts, headlining shows, both with MTK, both with Frank Warren. Is that not a fight that really, for both of you, would be a good fight?
Look, potentially, yeah. He made it very clear he doesn't want nothing to do with me.
Back then it was more, but that was more back then. Now,
yeah,
as
but
I say,
even now, the offer would be there. Like, all we've got to do is speak to the same people. They know that I would always take that fight. But you got to remember, his trainer, Danny Vaughan, was my trainer when I first turned pro. My brother's trainer for his first world title fight.
Yeah.
So he knows us very well. I've spoken to him face to face very many times. He would not put any of his fighters in with me. He's pretty much said that himself, especially not Paddy Barnes, 'cause he knows what I do to him. I think Paddy knows what I do to him.
What started this spat between you and Paddy? Why did you...
Oh, nothing
Where did it
really.
come from?
Just, I think he's a good lad, to be honest. I think he's funny. He's got a good personality. He doesn't like me because of how I don't know, I guess he thinks I had the audacity to call him out. But even now, he sort of gives my props. He goes, yeah, Sonny's a good fighter. Just that fight don't interest me for one reason or another.
I think things change though, don't they? So I think possibly maybe now it would, there'd be a lot of interest in it. I think.
He's fighting Jay Harris, who's a good friend of mine, which is a bit annoying because they're both fights that I wanted, and I thought me and Jay was gonna fight, and then he got the European title shot. Fair enough, because I'm WBO European champion. I don't know if I still am, because I've moved down weight. I couldn't fight for that title because it locks you out for 6 months.
How do you see that fight going?
I'll be very surprised if Jay don't stop him. I'm trying to get over there, to be honest. Even though MTK are advising against it.
Don't come.
Yeah, because it's sort of getting in the lines then, do you know what I mean? But I'm not.
But that potentially builds a fight, I guess. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, but it's just the fans, eh? Even though I've got very good, like some Irish boxing friends that are even on that show. I've spent most of the week with James Tennyson, who obviously beat a teeth.
Yeah.
And his team. Do you know what I mean? They've got a lot of good lads over there, like Ray Ginley, and they've all messaged me trying to get me to go over there. But
just go in disguise.
Maybe.
Get the tash on and get you sent over there.
I'll get a few security, do a Mayweather style, walk in the middle of 4 big security guards.
I know Miss Ruthless has got some questions, but I'm not going to do them now. I'm going to just because obviously you've been shortlisted as well for the Boxing Writers Club Young Boxer of the Year 2019. Now there's some great names on there. Our own Terry Harper from down the road.
Yeah, she's from Conisborough.
But that's nice. Again.
Yeah, I mean,
more recognition.
Yeah, of course. It's like I think I know who's going to win that.
Go on, I
don't think it's going to be myself. I think due to profile and size of fights, I think Dan Dubois would be a worthy winner of that. Beating Nathan Gorman, he was a Team GB. He was recognised as, do you know what I mean? That was a good 50-50 fight. And when people sort of put their unbeaten records on the line earlier than perhaps they should or could, then they deserve to get the praise for that. And I think Dan Dubois is headlined about four cards now, so he's up there with anyone. I mean, if I was in for a shout, that'd be nice, but just being nominated is good enough.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
We know Mr. P's rooting for Terry Harper now.
Yeah. Anybody doesn't know Mr. P, who's our honest accountant.
Boxers, you probably do know Mr. P.
Mr. P,
Yeah.
I think, was one of the...
Keep calm and love Mr. P.
Yeah, he loved you, Sonny, like nobody else. He had a mug with, I love Sonny on it.
I've seen the mug.
Listen, he was your number one fan, but he's gone very quiet. Yeah, he's gone so
Terry
quiet on
Harper
Sonny.
now, it seems to be.
Terry Harper seems to be the person that he's
Terry must
stalking. Following.
I think Terry must reply to him more.
Yeah, that's probably it. No, that's probably it.
The first conversation I had with Dean is, don't think you've got to reply to him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, the thing is, if you encourage
it does send a lot of messages.
So if you reply...
I think he knows, though.
He knows. He doesn't always expect to reply.
It's always love with Mr. P, but
Listen,
at the same time, when I get those final weeks of camp, 13 messages a
Yeah,
day.
you
is a bit
don't.
much.
Only 13.
Borderline stalking that.
He did actually have a question for you, so I said I would
You
ask you.
couldn't make it today.
No, but this was the sign of Mr. P, because this was his question. What's the worst experience you've ever had in a hotel? It's totally random, but that is.
There you go.
And the hotel doesn't. No,
Do we
say
really
hotel,
wanna know?
not hotel room, just hotel in general.
I've got one.
Or it
Go
could
on
be a
then.
hotel room if
I've
that
got
is the
one.
worst.
And you've got to be
Very-
honest here, Sonny. Don't
Very,
be trying to
very,
gloss it.
very,
What a
very few
random
people know this
question.
story.
Go on then. We've only got about 3 listeners anyway. So don't
But okay,
go on.
so after one of my fights, my Ryan Farag fight,
Yeah.
everyone went out and went into Shoreditch. I had one too many drinks, right?
Where's this going?
Well, so I've gone back to my room with the girl I was seeing at the time, and at about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, Charlie's knocked on the door. You know, he'll back me up on this. Charlie's knocked on the door. Bear in mind, at this point, I was in no state for nobody. So whatever you're thinking right now, that's not where it's going. I promise you that's not where it was going. So the door's knocked. The girl at question has walked to the door, answered it. Charlie's like, you got my charger because I think we took it to the venue or whatever.
Yeah.
So whilst they was at the door, I am I'm drunk as drunk as I've ever been. I've sat on the end of the bed, thought I was on the toilet and pissed on the floor.
No. Can we mention the hotel name just in case they are looking for you, mate?
And I'm talking, this was a hydrated one as well. This was one I've been waiting for a long, long time. And then they were both looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
And I don't remember it. And I after got back in bed and like nothing happened. And me and that girl weren't speaking.
Yeah,
much
now
longer
you don't
after
see that girl.
Now you were like being dumped. Fair comment. See, Mr. P's question's not that bad, really. To be fair, I slagged him off, but
I don't think anyone, apart from about 3 people, know that story. Now
Now
About
our 3
6 people.
listeners do.
Well, it's good because we needed something, didn't we? We need some gossip because the thing is, we're doing these podcasts because we're boxing fans. I mean, it's like us selling the tape, really. We got into it because
which tape is that?
It's funny you should say that
funny you
because
should
that's
say
one of the
that.
ruthless questions.
It is.
In fact, shall we have that question?
let's
Yeah.
Come on. What your first ruthless question?
So
for Sonny?
last time you came to visit us, I believe Dean gave you some of our bondage tape. A bit like that one.
Can I just say
Yeah.
this is the non-adhesive self-cling fetish tape
All I'm saying-
Bondage.
that we designed about 16, 17 years ago.
All I'm saying is,
BondageTape.com.
BondageTape.com.
If you look over to that side of the room, there's a big smile on that face.
Oh, right, okay.
That was
Yeah,
so
Sonny's girlfriend is in
news.
the house.
Oh,
Sonny's
so
girlfriend.
Sonny's
I've run out.
girlfriend's here.
Well,
Maybe do we get her on the mic just to see see how
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Let's leave that on. But the
I was actually meaning the Empire Pro tape, not the.
No, we
not
meant
that
the bondage tape. Come on, we
Yeah,
meant we
yeah,
both
okay.
the bondage tape.
Can
in
we
with
just say
us.
we do tapes to every industry, and that's we don't judge any. We just supply
well,
the tape.
the box that I got last time that probably had about 12 rolls in, all different colours.
Yeah.
That was run out because I did message you not so long ago. saying I
You
need
can
some.
have another one.
There you go, doing-
There you go.
You got any pink? That's my favourite.
Yeah, well, I think
We have got pink.
We've got pink. Do you know what the funny thing is? When we created that product 16, 17 years ago, we were a little bit.
I want
dubious.
to know why you created that product.
Listen, shall I tell you the true story?
Yeah, that's a good
That's another
question.
story.
Yes,
No,
Dean.
It is a good
Right, I'm
story.
going to tell you the quick story then on that one.
No long story.
No,
no.
it's a quick
Don't miss
story.
anything out.
I'd gone round to my grandma's. My grandma's about 9. Listen, it gets worse.
It is a good story.
It gets worse. No, it gets worse. So she was about 92 at the time, and she used to talk for England. So I was sat there, used to go around once a week. I was sat, and I'd just come back from Ireland, and that particular product was used for the automotive industry for wrapping round wires. That was his original idea. So cutting a long story short, I was thinking about that because I'd come back from Ireland. My grandma was yapping in my ear, and then on TV, a advert came on for fetish perfume. Now, at the time, I had 2 other business partners. I phoned one of them and said, I've had this idea. You know that black tape that we do for X, Y, and Z company over in Ireland? How about we try and introduce it for this? Because we used to get inquiries where people used to want our gaffer tape for...
But it sticks too much.
Yeah, of
I
course
feel.
it does. And it pulls off your
Sonny
hair and all
was
that.
that.
Sonny
Yeah,
knows
exactly.
straight away.
So what we did
Can't really
is...
gag with it.
Exactly.
I do, honestly-
Sonny,
Sonny
levels,
I do
please.
think if Sonny weren't a boxer, he would work for you
Yeah.
Sonny,
Yeah.
Sonny, what kind of works for me now? Look at him. He's,
Yeah.
But I
selling,
mean-
he's selling the product.
in the bondage
It'd be
area.
brilliant at all
Selling the
exhibitions we
product.
used to do.
Anyway, so I decided to... I phoned up the first business partner. He said, look, don't do it. We've got too many big clients that are in other industries might be offended Then I spoke to another one, he said exactly the same. And then our sales director, the guy who I'm still in business with, he went, oh yeah, I've got a load of my mates' porno mags upstairs. I'll go and get some contact numbers. He then got in touch with the mistress. We used to do a erotica show down at Olympia. We did it every single year for about 11 years.
Yeah.
And it was always Mr. and Mrs. Smith next door that was our best clients. Came back every year. Used to buy 5 rolls for 20
About 20
I think it
quid.
was.
Nick, was you here at
Um,
this point?
Yeah.
Honestly,
I used to do erotica every
There's
year.
pictures
What?
of Nick dressed up in bondage.
Yeah.
Nick.
Yeah.
See, people that are thinking about Empire Pro
Nick
Tape, it's
the-
quite boring. They're thinking,
Hey,
Nick,
kinda
the
like
not
this
so
company.
geek, yeah.
not so geeky.
Nick the Freak.
Nick the freak, Nick the geek. We might as well have your next 2 questions because that was a really
goodness,
good
yeah.
one. Yeah, what's your second question for Sonny?
So the second one, who...
Can I just before you ask this question, we are, as we develop this, we're going to have like little music to your questions because I feel like you
Are
have
we
a,
really?
yeah,
Like a little jingle?
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
jingle. A little jingle.
Maybe I can do the backing track.
Do you know
Oh,
what?
we'd love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one less job for me to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, but the way that Sonny's going, he could actually become the resident sort of guest. You never know.
You,
know
I
what I
think you
mean?
could afford me, Dick.
Oh, thanks for that. We'll pay you in bondage tape.
Right. Who out of your professional fights has been the easiest win?
Oh, a bit ruthless, that one.
Uh,
Are you allowed to do that?
I don't
Allowed to
think
say
it
that?
is.
A journeyman, but there was a fighter that I fought when I had one hand. Took it at 10 days' notice. Patrick Bartos. I think I put him down 4
Oh,
times.
the fly just landed on me.
Oh my God,
We've
scared
got
me to
fly.
death.
Jesus, sorry.
Sorry, scared me.
Sorry, Sonny, go on.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think I put him down 4 times in the space of about 4 minutes, and every time I hit him with anything, he just sort of jumped on the floor.
That would, yeah.
But then
That
Harvey
sounds
Horn, the week before that, went 4 rounds with him. So
Oh, just
Make of
stick
that
that
as
one
you
in.
will.
Yeah, stick that one in. Oh, yeah. Go on then, question number 3, finish it off.
And the last one. Who is more successful with ladies, you or your brother Charlie?
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
Nah.
a little bit unfair as well, isn't it?
Nah,
That's,
to be
mind
fair,
you, ruthless question. There you go. There you go.
no. To be fair, Charlie is an absolutely. He's a lady killer. I'll tell you
Yeah?
that for now. When he's not in a
He loves the
relationship,
ladies.
when he's not in a relationship, and maybe when he is in one. But
Oh, Sonny, you can't just come
I'm
on here and make it
joking.
the most controversial podcast in the world.
ruthless.
Ruthless
Yeah.
question. And answered honestly.
Nah, but
yeah.
honestly, if Charlie sets his mind to it, which is pretty much every time he goes out single,
Yeah.
he will not be leaving the club alone. Let's put it that way.
Really?
He is-
Wow.
He doesn't mind bouncing from her to her to her to her.
Is he gonna allow
He
us to
doesn't
put this
mind.
out? By the way, is that where? Yeah.
Charlie's
Oh, right,
Charlie's
okay.
girl
He's not here to
mad.
defend himself.
You 2 brothers must have fought as you were growing up.
Nah, 100%.
Yeah.
He's yeah.
He's more successful.
Yeah.
We
And
need to get
I
Charlie
think
in
he's a
now
lot
and have
more-
ruthless questions.
Yeah.
I don't like anyone having the, I don't know, not the power, but you know, if anyone could say, "Oh, he tried it with me," so I don't
do
really
you-
like
but you get a
rejection
lot of
like
people-
that. So I don't until I think I'm onto a winner, then I play it cool. Do you know what I mean?
Do you? I mean, obviously,
She's agreeing.
yeah. No comment.
There's a funny story now, Joe.
No comment. No.
I'm not going to tell that story.
No, but you get a lot
No,
of
you
people
should
like
tell that
hitting you up on
story.
Instagram and things like that. Must be the obvious route in for him, is it?
Every now and then, but what I don't ever do is I would never message a girl first on Instagram. I would never have a girl send
I
a
don't
message
think
from
that's
me and
attractive for a girl to receive a
yeah, but
slimy message.
no, because boys do it like just to slide in, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't ever give anyone the opportunity to screenshot that and send, "Oh, look who's trying to chat to me." No, I think that's a bad
Yeah.
look. I don't like it. Some boys do it, like they don't care, but
Charlie.
that's not me.
I'm joking, by the way, Charlie. I'm joking.
Charlie's DMs are full, mate. Believe
Yeah.
you me. Believe ever since he got that blonde
Listen,
haircut.
I feel Charlie's pain. I feel his pain.
It must be hard being Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Good old Charlie. In fact, you know, you're Charlie's best friend, are you? One of his best
Well,
friends?
one of, not his like sole best friend on earth.
No,
Just a
yeah.
good friend.
Just a good friend. Okay.
Maybe I am his sole best friend on earth.
I think
What
he
do
was one of his closest friends in Sheffield.
Yeah. What do you think,
Just in
Charlie?
Sheffield, isn't
And he hasn't really got no friends outside.
I know he's got no choice but to be my mate, has he?
Yeah, you become the top friend. KSI versus Logan Paul. Back onto the, what I was going to say boxing, but I mean,
Loose.
I noticed that Steve Bunn's put something out there as well. Just
Yeah.
very, was it today? I think it was today. Was it?
Yesterday or today, I don't know.
Yesterday or
Whenever
today.
it was announced.
But I mean, what is your thoughts on that? I mean,
Well, this is boxing is a business, isn't it? So
Yeah.
if they can sell out 20,000 seats and get 700,000 people to pay to watch them, then who am I to say they shouldn't be doing it? Do you know what I mean? Like, I would love to be in that position.
it's show business, isn't it?
If someone said to me, "Is 5 million to play what they're doing and playing Xbox and that. And I'll be like, go on then, where do I sign up? Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't think twice about it. So, they're jumping in. There's a very good chance of them absolutely embarrassing themselves, getting knocked out and ironed out in front of people. So they're set. They're like, do you know what I mean? They're getting paid to do that. So enough people want to see it. So why not?
Well, the last fight in Manchester, when we got contacted, I think it was the Friday before. Oh, you know, a couple of days to go anyway, and they said, "Oh, we need some tape. We've got an event going on in Manchester."
Which
we didn't know,
tape did they want?
and we didn't know anything. The pro tape.
Both.
The pro tape.
One before,
But,
during, and after.
And we didn't know anything about what the event was. We didn't hear
Yeah,
anything
they sold
about
out
it.
Manchester.
Yeah, and when we got over there, we
And
had
it was
to,
£10 pay-per-view or whatever it was.
we got ushered into the back just to do a practice hand wrap, and then on the event night, a hand rapper that you know and I know was in the limousine with one of the guys that was fighting, and he said there was women just jumping all over the cars, trying to drag him out. He's like, absolutely mental.
They're not like... I grew up in the early days of like YouTube. That was like when I was using it. Do you know what I mean? Like, So I was at one point the kid that was around the same age to all these people that are fighting. That I was watching what they were doing, you know, like FIFA and whatnot.
Yeah, we were
So
too
What-
old.
I
We're
don't-
too
what-
old for that.
What did they
We were
do?
talking about this.
They literally just what you're doing now, but playing Xbox or doing other things, and then they've branched from that to doing so many other things. Because look at kids now, like whoever's got an iPad, their kids will be on YouTube at some point watching people open toys,
My
Yeah,
little boy
it's
does
and
all
they
the
get
time.
millions of views,
Yeah.
millions of views.
My
And they're
little boy
making-
watches
they're
them play with
making so
Nerf
much money.
guns, everything.
And you think, in your head, you think, why wouldn't you just go and do it yourself? Do you know what I mean? But for some reason, there's some, I don't know, it's like they've got a mutual interest, and then people like watching them, and they make stupid money no matter what they do. They like, the kid, that KSI kid was driving a Lambo when he was like 18,
Yeah.
and he's much bigger now than he ever was then, because it's like exponential. It's like anything,
what I
like you
mean-
get more followers, more subscribers every year, and it's getting more and more and more, and they're going to make more and more money. So doing stuff like this, they're just
And
gonna
obviously,
cash in,
Matchroom
raking.
now
Jumped on
this one, so
maybe a stroke of genius, but it does cheapen it a little bit. Do you
That's
know
what I
mean?
thought. I was
think-
surprised to see it on Matchroom.
I don't
today,
think
to
you'd
be
see
fair.
Frank Warren doing it, but Eddie Hearn's probably a lot more moving with the times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think you'd see a Frank Warren try and get like a YouTuber. I just don't think you'd see that. But what it is getting used. So all these people subscribe to DAZN if they just use it for the month. But we're in a generation where people subscribe to stuff and
Forget about it.
it. I
Yeah,
think I've used my PlayStation since I got it about 2 or 3 times and to watch films, and I've been subscribing, I think, £6 a month to that, and I haven't even thought
that
about
reminds me, I
cancelling
need
it.
to get rid of my keto app and my face reduction.
Oh,
Exactly.
no, I've got loads of face
You know what I
reduction.
mean?
My
We live in
face
that-
slimming app.
We live in that subscription
Yeah.
subscription world where people subscribe to something and then they forget about it, and
No, it's true.
then they remember and they just think, oh, I can't be asked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's that difficult to log in, press cancel, and then
So if they said to you, on that particular fight night, we want you to come over and we want you to fight, and we're going to pay you X amount of pounds, would you have a problem fighting on that card?
well, I'm sure Uncle Frank would, but I mean, as long as that X amount of pounds is a nice X, then yeah, of course I would. Of course
There you
I'd
go.
fight. I'd fight anywhere. I'd go Saudi Arabia to fight. I'd fight in here if you pay me to.
Oh, that's it.
Oh,
Dean
yeah.
against Sonny
wait,
Edwards.
Saudi Arabia. You know what I mean? We might as well speak about AJ as well, because you promised me right at the beginning of our journey 2 years ago, Dean, give me a box of the tape, and AJ
gave
will put
it
it
to him.
on
I gave it
and give
to
you a
him.
shout out. And we've been chasing him
gave
down
it
for
to
about
him.
2 years.
I gave it to him. I gave him the tape, and
Yeah.
we both know who was that put a block.
I know.
I put a block on that. He did use it though.
Did he?
Yeah, I've been
No,
told.
That's all right. Then.
It's not that there's any
That's the
image of
main
it.
thing. That's the main. Who wins that fight then on the rematch?
Hopefully AJ. He's a friend of mine. But
Yeah.
you've got to favour Ruiz because you don't think there's not enough turnaround time. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got to go on the thing. But then again, look at greats like Leonard and Duran.
Make an
Duran
adjustment
pasted
and
him
come
the
back.
first time. 6 months later, whatever it was, got danced around. So who knows? He might make the adjustments, and I hope he does. Heavyweight boxing, anything can happen, but
Do you think if he lost, that would be it?
no,
No,
because
keep
he
going.
he might not want to box again. He don't need to box again.
Yeah, you don't need,
I'm
does
just
it?
thinking about the monetary side
He
of
must
things,
be
though.
worth 500, 250 mil at bare minimum. He must be.
Yeah.
With all the sponsorships and all of the adverts he's on. Like, there's probably not been a day where you haven't actually seen AJ's face. There's probably
No,
not
I've
been
got him on Snapchat. I see him
there-
daily.
okay, take away having
Of
him on
course
social
you do.
media. There's probably not been a week, a calendar week where you've not seen him on an advert, on a poster, on TV.
I don't
heard
mind seeing
him.
him all the time, though.
No, it's
Yeah, I don't
not a
know.
bad thing.
there is a rumor going around that he's doing the second podcast.
Oh
but
my gosh.
I'm not gonna build it up.
Well,
just
in
yet.
fact, he
Until I
wanted
get
to do this
confirmation.
one, but we thought, no, fuck it, we
Nah,
want
yeah,
Sonny on
Sonny,
his
Yeah.
first
Sonny.
one.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that you didn't get Dalton in, to be honest. But
Oh,
Oh.
I don't. Well, do you know what?
Look
No, I was going to say.
at that signed picture just behind.
Oh,
Nailed that up for that camera.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
that is Dalton and his signature. Oh, Sonny.
Let's just look
No.
for a picture of Sonny, shall we?
No, I can't see you on either, Sonny.
can I tell you a little story about Dalton?
Here we go.
Right at the beginning of our journey, the very first time we created the Empire prototype, we needed somebody to come in and we needed some visuals, some camera work. And there was two people that put their names forward. There was Jamie McDonald and Dalton. And
I didn't get the nod.
They gave up their
I've
time.
asked, and no post. Oh, look, anti-yard, look.
Yeah. And to be fair, he came in and I think he was with Team GB at the time, obviously.
Yeah.
But, you know, we obviously did quite a bit of things, you know, with Still City anyway, with Grant and Jamie and yourself. And
I feel like you're struggling for words
Yeah,
here.
sorry,
you're
mate, yeah,
you're on
yeah,
the
yeah,
spot.
I'm just babbling
Basically,
on now.
He's
yeah.
saying a lot without saying much.
Yeah.
Good old Dalton.
Nah, I'm not really bitter. You look after me very well since pretty much like one of my first fights. So I appreciate it.
Do you like the tape?
I like the tape.
Which
Good
one?
shit.
yeah.
Nah, the tape's good, especially now it don't come off your wrist when you fight.
Oh.
No, it's like compared to the other
Listen,
brands
listen.
out there.
At the end of the day, we had to
Here it is,
create.
this one.
We had to create a glove tape. Yeah, well spotted.
Whose fight was it the other day that it was spinning around?
Kovalev.
Kovalev. Yep.
Yeah,
See?
yeah.
I thought that wouldn't happen if that was Empire.
Do you know what? I think a little bit of snippet information there that they tried to use the glove tape in Yardi's camp, but they were told they weren't allowed.
In
They
Russia,
even,
'cause it was
yeah,
in
they even
Russia.
offered it to Kovalev, and they said no, we don't want to use it. We're going to carry on using the hand wrapping tape, which is definitely not the right way to do it.
No.
If you don't use the glove tape,
They should have
the-
sent you over to Russia, shouldn't they?
Well, the thing is, people are catching on with the glove tape. They understand that, you know, the tape is designed for a specific purpose. So the tape on the outside of the gloves, why it's been used for so many tens of hundreds of years, whatever it's been used for, it's always going to fail because when it gets wet, it's going to drop off. So,
It breaks my heart when I see people use this for their wraps, though.
yeah, I mean,
Because you told me that it's not supposed to be used. So every time I'm like,
it's not because it's not
shouldn't use that.
it's not got that little bit of flexibility in it. For training wraps and using it as a top coating, you can use it. We're really going to be boring people if they're listening to this one. But, you know, the glove tape, again, we've got it into the States now with the ABC.
This was all planned just to plug the.
Yeah.
I know, I was thinking that.
Yeah, it just happens to have a roll. Just
And
hanging
there's just a
around,
few rolls,
yeah.
there's a few pictures of Dalton and a few rolls of Empire knocking around.
We've actually got 4 pictures of Dalton. Well, I'd set
Have
3
you?
down because I didn't want to offend him. And he spotted the one that I left up. No, I'm only joking. Right, any questions then for our Sonny before we wrap it up? I think we did all right on our first
Yeah,
podcast,
it
didn't we?
wasn't too bad.
Sonny, come on, you're interviewed by loads of people. This is our very first attempt.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it.
Enjoyed it?
Enjoyed it. It's like Breakfast Club or something.
We want to try, to be honest, we want to try and make it a little bit more relaxed so we get a little
Yeah.
bit more
You said we
gossip
could
like
have
what you've given
wine.
us. Yeah, we're allowed to
Yeah,
drink wine on the
you
tour.
didn't come through with
Yeah.
that promise
No.
today, actually.
If I come
Yeah.
after my fight, I'll bring a bottle of Disaronno.
Yeah, and obviously we wish you
Imagine what I
all-
start
Yes,
saying.
good luck.
Good
Imagine what I
luck.
start saying after a few drinks.
Well, I think-
Oh,
yes.
yes.
Yeah, but the thing is, right, is we're trying to...
Every 5 minute shot.
Yeah, but we obviously want to attract, you know, we want to get boxers in of all different levels and, you know,
Yeah.
loads of different people, whether it be a cut man, a coach, and just try and sort of give back a little bit and a bit more of an insight. I mean, you've obviously got everybody that gets interviewed with, you know, IFL and people like that, which are brilliant interviews, and they tend to happen, you know, just straight after the fight or maybe sometimes in an office. But we want it to be more about you as a person, really, rather than it just being always about fighting.
Yeah.
But I think there's a good shout for Sonny being, as I say, resident, because he knows everybody. So
Yeah,
he
I'll
would
come
drag
through.
most people in.
Yeah, I'll come.
And if we offer him a few boxes of tape to come over for an
Bondage.
hour. Bondage
Bondage
tape.
tape.
Pink
Yeah,
bondage
exactly,
tape
pink
for
bondage
Sonny.
tape. But thanks for coming in, mate.
No,
Appreciate
thanks for having me
it.
down for the first,
And good luck fight night. We know you'll do it.
Yes.
Yep.
hopefully.
No, you will.
Definitely.
You got it,
All
definitely.
right, cool. I was going to put on it. All I ever see is you tweeting about women in relationships. Sonny, have you had a bad experience?
The worst.
The worst.
Tell us about it.
Right,
I
we're
also-
in.
I,
Let's
also,
hear
I, also, I
about-
always see you putting out.
Nah,
tweets.
I'm
No,
very
no, no,
tongue
no.
in cheek.
No, you are
Very
tongue in cheek. Listen, I follow you because it's funny.
a lot of things that I post isn't me being serious.
No, I know that, and I get that. But what I do find funny is a lot of it tends to be about relationships or, you know.
I've been
and-
single. I've been single for the last 3 years.
No. I'm just saying, but you do tend to tweet a lot about it. So I was just wondering,
Yeah,
have
go-
you had a really bad experience and you want to talk about it? Because we feel like we're a little bit like counsellors as well.
Yeah, we're
No.
here.
Talk to us.
You can talk to us.
Sonny.
I'm in a good place right now.
Yeah.
I'm in a good place right now.
As he
But no,
looks
it's
over
just-
to his girl at
Yeah.
the other side of the room.
Yeah.
And that's where it stops. There's nothing that comes after the girl. There's no.
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 But I'm in a very good place. Like, and it's
Fatherhood
just something
is
that's
definitely put you
funny.
in a
That's
good place.
funny to
Yeah.
talk about. And prior to the last however many months, if you put something out, this is what I've noticed. If you put something out, sort of half taking the piss out of girls, you get a good response.
Yeah. It gets the numbers up.
You get them in your DMs without having to go after them.
yeah.
Oh, well, they're
Nice.
back to the not messaging first. I see
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Well, I've not gone to them.
No, you're just
Then
reeling
you're
them
in
in.
my court. Then You're on my home then. You've messaged first. You've green light.
One nice thing that
Smooth.
we see, obviously, is chance.
Mhm.
And obviously that must have changed your outlook on life, never mind boxing. But, I mean, how does that affect things in terms of, when you're thinking about a career and having to provide now for children?
Yeah, it gives like another motivation. No matter what I do in my personal life or time, I always make sure. Do you know what I mean? I make enough time for him, of course, as well as making sure he's got everything he needs and then some. Do you know what I mean? I was grown up where I didn't want for nothing, but we weren't sport at the same time. We learned the value of things. You know what I mean? If you break something or you don't take anything for granted because you won't get it again. And obviously he's only young, so I can't teach him that yet. But from early on, I want to make sure he has everything. If I can, through my boxing career, give him the best head start, give him 18 years of everything he needs to get where he needs to go. Because once he's 18, he's on his own.
Yeah.
Kick him straight out.
No, definitely. So in terms of the boxing career then, if you could look into the future, when do you see yourself? Do you see it's like you've got like you want to win so many world titles and defend and then that's you done? Or is it a case of I want to earn that much money, then I'm out? Or is it a case of...
I'll be boxing for a long, long time. Which I'm sure you're not happy to hear about that, seeing as you sponsor me. But
Yeah, Dean's face has gone red.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah.
no, but you know what? I really, really enjoy everything I'm doing. I enjoy boxing. I enjoy the finance. I enjoy the good times, the bad times, everything in between. Like Saturday night was probably our darkest day in the last 2 years. I mean, everyone in the gym's pretty much won at everything. Me and my brother. I mean, our last Christmas we had in the space of 2.5 weeks. We had Chance being born. I won a big TV title, then Charlie won a world champion, all in time for Christmas. And it was that you don't get many years where that's going to be at end of the year. Do you know what I mean? So we understand that there's bad times.
It's been mainly good times, though, hasn't it?
And maybe that's because we put so much work and effort into it. Do you know what I mean? Our natural talent can only carry us so far. And we want it. Do you know what I mean? So I think you get out what you put in a lot of the time, no matter what you're doing. If you do the required steps to be successful at something, you are up in your percentage or possibility of doing so.
Where does Grant differ from other coaches that you've seen and worked with?
Well, I've worked with a hell of a lot of coaches through the years. You know, I've been boxing 14 years. I've been with Grant coming up to 6. And Grant is just tactically and boxing-wise, he's very open-minded, which is good. He's very fair. He keeps you on the straight and narrow. Do you know what I mean? He'll tell you if he thinks you're being out of order or if you're slacking or he'll be on you. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, he'll give you enough rope where, do you know what I mean? He doesn't want to be babysitting your time, because if it gets to the point where he needs to be on you 24/7, then you're going down the wrong path straight away. So it's a balancing act. But as well as that, he is far more than just a coach to me. He's like a father figure. Do you know what I mean? Up in Sheffield, he's taken me under as one of his own ever since I've been with him. He was the first person I told about Chance.
Yeah.
When you obviously have the conversation of what we're going to do from here. Because what a lot of people don't realise is me and the mother of my child we weren't together that long. So we're seeing each other for about 3-4 months when she fell pregnant. But it's something that I would not change in a million years, because he is the best thing in my life, to be honest.
Well, obviously the relationship must be good then. Because obviously I see Chance most times with you every week.
Yeah,
Either at
like
the gym,
we
I've been up into press conferences and I've seen you there with.
we have my times when I get him. she has never stopped me or even tried to like say I can't. Do you know what I mean? Right from here, I'm going to pick him up from nursery.
And she still supports you down at fight nights as well, because I've
Yeah,
seen
yeah,
you
she's
seen
been
her
at a few of my
down there.
fights. You know, we're really good friends. Obviously, sometimes there's little things you fall out about, but it's just about coming over that. And we both put chance first, and there's a lot of like between us. We like each other as people, even though we didn't work out to be perhaps what the ideal family unit, but we both know that we'll put chance for anything. And she's very understanding of my boxing, and when I can and when I can't have him, when I'm training 3 times a day or hard sparring, do you know what I mean? But at the same time, I'll be able to just fly down and see Chance at any point, if I just need a little boost in my day for an hour. So it's great, do you know what I mean? And not just that, like, even like the person I live with, Levi, who's a boxer, godfather to Chance, he has him overnight sometimes. Like, my sister and my mum obviously obsessed with him, her family too. So it's good, man. We've got a good support network.
You're
Seems
moving
like he's got a
out.
good life.
You're moving out from Levi soon, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm moving into the place Charlie's just moving out of, actually. I think it's coming to this time where I need to live on my own. Do you know what I mean?
Whoa.
No, not to that. We've lived together 2 years and it's been sound, but I think as Chance is getting older, because obviously, do you know what I mean? If I've got Chance around, it could stop what he wants, his plans for the weekend and stuff like that. So it doesn't need to be like that no more. And he's at uni anyway, so I think he's
So new houses, new cars, new watch. Suggests that the
New
new
birds.
contract was and the new contracts obviously kicked in and everything's good.
Yeah, like I've stayed busy. Do you know what I mean? Everything's good. I got.
Are
Very
you fresh
little
into a new
complaints.
contract, or is this?
No, this is I want to say my 4th fight into this contract now. 'Cause
Yeah.
at the beginning of the year, Granados, I think, was the first fight of this contract, and no, it was the beginning of this year. So yeah, like just keep me busy, and when we go on from here, there's a clear trajectory of I'll be staying busy, getting in bigger profile fights, more exposure, more backing, more money, and hopefully push on to world titles sooner rather than later, because that's the direction we're heading. Because I know I won't shy away from it as long as everything's fair, purse fair, opportunity fair. Then I'll be there. I'm a fighter at the end of the day. I'm not like a diva that looks for 1,000,001 excuses, but they know when dealing with me that I'll know what a right offer is, whatever they're offering, if it's like a bigger fight. Because you've got to pay me in relation. Do you know what I mean? If I'm getting XYZ to fight Pedro Matos or Gallardo or even Guaneros, but then they offer me someone like a world title challenger or like a big domestic name like an Andrew, so they got to pay me for that right, especially now on the back of my own name, I'm headlining on BT, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, fair comment.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you lot be talking about pay rise or anything like that? 'Cause
Oh, don't worry, we'll
it's all
dream of it.
consistent. It's all consistent.
We're still waiting
Yeah.
for one.
Christmas party this year?
Cancelled.
Yeah, am I invited to the Christmas party?
We don't
have
them.
them.
We don't have them.
They cost too much.
What?
Exactly.
Dean.
Do you know what I've looked
With
at-
all this camera equipment and you can't even get
Exactly.
a Christmas party.
I actually
Then you can
organised one
come
last
down
year
to
and he
the,
made
come
me
down to the
cancel
gym
it.
one.
We're all
Come down
getting-
to the
we're all
gym.
Yeah,
getting-
I'd rather be there anyway.
We're all getting older, so Christmas
No,
party's
you're
gonna-
getting
No,
old.
you're getting
We're
older. We
not.
still want to
You don't
party.
have to be there. You just need
No.
to provide one.
Yeah, we
I
just
think
for an
there
hour.
should be one this year.
Yeah.
I think we should change it.
This hasn't. This podcast
Christmas
kind of
party.
turns into like a moaning session. right?
Empire
Yeah.
Pro Party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're on the wrong side of the table
So
as well.
this isn't just about us just talking and just enjoying our own conversation. You're supposed to make it interesting for people to listen to. Do you know what I mean? It's,
We should have a vote. Should we have a Christmas party this year?
so it's all basically come down to, are we going to have a Christmas
Yeah.
party? How boring.
I can't
is
believe you
that?
don't have them.
No, I'm shocked.
Yeah, why not?
Do you have a meal? We have a Christmas
No.
meal.
No, nothing.
What about your? That's,
Did I think I've changed my mind? I don't think I want to.
Sonia, I'm glad you mentioned food, because one of the questions we was going to ask you is, what is the binge food out of camp? So, or after the fight, is there something you
Anything.
particularly? No, you just go for anything.
Anything and everything that I don't have to cook myself. So I'm talking pizzas, Subways, McDonald's. I can eat. I'm greedy.
And straight
I'm
after a
very
fight, do you have to eat? Somebody said eat slowly, because apparently
Because your stomach, it just, well, I can go through that, but it hurts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're putting yourself through suffering.
Crazy though, isn't it?
But yeah, so anything really. Like, I
Kebab
just like
and
the sort of
chips, yeah.
takeaway food.
Nice.
Do you know what I really like that? Do you know if we're sticking to proper food, Mexican and, funnily enough, Mexican and like Turkish and Greek food. That's
Little
my
bit.
that's
Oh,
my
yeah.
angle.
No,
Big chicken, big rice, bread, halloumi, all of that
Oh,
good stuff.
halloumi.
And at the moment, obviously, you're not eating a lot, I want to thought.
I'm
So-
not. I don't know. I'm not eating a lot, but I'm just eating the right stuff and bringing my weight in.
What's a typical day?
Well, so today I had Weetabix when I get in. 3 Weetabix, a bit of honey, milk. Then after training, I have like an omelette. As I get closer to the fights, I don't
I'm
want.
just going to write this down because I might try it myself. I've tried about 64,000 different diets, so I might as well give this one a go.
As I get closer, as you know what I mean, the scrambled egg on toast or bagel becomes just the omelette. You get rid of the unneeded carbs. Very starchy carbs bread. Stay away from it if you're on a diet.
Cheers,
There you
thanks for
go.
that. I'm
Then
off it.
come back from training, some chicken and some rice. Just nice and
Yeah.
simple. If you've seen my Instagram story, Cooking with Showtime.
Cooking with
Yeah.
Showtime.
Yeah, that's all that.
I've not seen that.
This is what he said to me.
You've
Make
got
sure
to
you mention
season your
food so we
chicken.
can get into the. Yeah,
And-
mention it.
And then maybe like a 0% fat yogurt or something like that. Some fruit as like your little snack in between. Then at night, depending on my weight, if I'm good, if I've got a hard day tomorrow, then some more like rice, some pasta, chicken
Where's your
again.
weight
I
at the
stick.
moment? Where are you at the moment?
Today I was 54.8, and I've got 4 kilos to lose from my weigh-in, which isn't that much when I've been drinking a load of water and eating 4-5 meals a day. But obviously, as it gets tighter, the chicken and rice becomes chicken. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it doesn't differ too much. You take away the carbs and that last little bit. If you do that from too early, you have no energy. It's all about balance.
Yeah. That's what I find.
Yeah, we can tell.
Yeah. Problem is my balance is all to cock.
You don't eat through the day.
No.
Oh, yeah, I've never seen you eat.
This isn't going to be about me either, by the way. Just we're not going to talk about my my food intake. Right. Last question. Brexit. What's your thoughts on that?
No deal. Nah, joking.
No.
I don't. It's gonna sound bad. I don't care enough.
Doesn't
to
affect you, does
opin-
it?
Yeah, not really. I suppose maybe if I box in Europe, it might do, but I don't know how. I'll get paid. I'm not even gonna say my pay structure, but it doesn't go to this country straight, and it comes around the house. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Offshore account. Nice.
No, nothing like that. But just the, where I get my money from, like where I get paid from. Do you know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
Is they're based overseas. But yeah, I don't think it's going to affect me too much. It might affect opponents and stuff. I don't know. To be honest, I think they need to do another referendum though, because the deal that people said yes to originally isn't the deal that's on the table now. So everyone knows everything's quite black and white because we're at the point now. And then I think they should do a yes or no. Maybe give like a 10% waiver for no deal because they won the first time, and then see where we go from there.
Quite impressed. I didn't think he was going to answer that question.
No.
Man of many talents, me.
Indeed. Of which boxing is right up there at the top. So good luck for
Bondage
fight
tape.
night. Obviously,
Right there,
there.
second.
Second top.
Yeah, I'm trying to play that a little bit low key,
the
so that
bondage
people
tape.
forget about that.
When he
before.
first sent me a box, right?
I'm never forgetting
When
about
he
bondage
first sent me
tape.
a box, he sent me a big box of Empire Pro tape with this inside. And I zoomed in on my Insta on the bondage tape
Yeah.
side. And he was like, "Now take it down." I was like, "No."
Yeah, no. We don't like to offend people, Actually, try and keep everybody happy.
It's
but
natural.
It is not. Hey, listen, we have
When a
brought-
man and a woman really love each other,
Can I just tell you something?
They-
right?
the birds
They-
and the bees,
They gag each other
Listen.
and wrap them up.
Listen, I'll tell you now. If you think that we
they can't escape then.
listen,
That's how Sonny gets his girls.
Yeah.
11 years,
By force.
3 days over the weekend, we never sold less than
Oh, we sold
1,000 packs.
Yeah.
So say 1,000 packs, and we did that over 10 years, over the 3 days, over the weekend. How much joy have we brought to people's lives?
Loads.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Pleasure, a little bit of pain.
Well, it doesn't have to be pain, just pleasure. We have to go down that road, but you can take those 2 rolls, by the way.
Whatever floats your boat.
Enjoy. Just be careful, look, it's getting close to fight now. I don't want any accidents.
No.
Oh,
do you
could
know
you
what I mean?
I need to
imagine?
lose
Could
the
you
last bit
imagine?
of weight, don't I?
Yeah,
Somehow.
It's so he can, yeah.
it's good.
Or it could be like a sweatsuit, wrap yourself up in it,
I had to go for a
work
jog.
out.